universe. It's Caner Tip Tuesday, and today we're still in the Sobrevivencia series, and we're titling this one, The Weaker the Cane. And believe me, I'll show you today why I have the weaker cane. But before we do that, a warm welcome to those of you who are here for the first time. Two things you want to do is, if you like the content, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell icon so you don't miss any future content. Avail yourself. You have two free resources. The first is the no-cost cane clarity call. That's where we get on the phone with you and answer all your questions regarding how to get cane trained where you are. You always hear me say it every single week. Training is the real equalizer, and as you'll see in today's video, I'll demonstrate how that works. But just text the letter CCC to 305-745-7839. In less than 24 hours, we will be on a phone call, and you'll walk out of there with an actual blueprint as to how to get cane trained, and we'll answer any and all your questions regarding canes and the cane culture in general. The second free resource is you have a private Facebook group called the Cane Flow. Just request entry and they'll let you right in. The weaker the cane. If this were Maestro Ruiz finishing this sentence, he would say something along the lines of, the weaker the cane, the more versatile I became. And what I have with me here today is a gel folder thing. And so, boy, this is really not what I want. If you follow ACSD, I'm certainly not going to lead with strikes with this, because this is not going to hold up. I'll put this over my knee and bend it right away. So this folding. But Maestro Ruiz has been known to show up with one of these. He picks it up right before he gets to the training, and it's to prove a point. And I'm going to show you that part of the reason he used something like this is because he would hang around. His means of transportation was in a scooter and motorcycle, and it's you have the full length cane, so it was very easy for him to put this away and tuck it in a pocket. And before we get any deeper into this, I'm going to preface this because there's some of you that may be running into this segment, and you say, "Boy, I've been following this guy for years. What is he doing with that gel folder, and is ACSD changing?" And all these, we've gotten some questions regarding that, and please follow along with me here. Maestro Ruiz, and nothing's changed over here, he'd be the first to tell you that those hard wooden canes, that aircraft grade aluminum Raven, and the canes that we have here, American made canes, from our good friends over at Cane Masters to ACSD Canes, these are the finest canes in the world, and he's the first one to point out that those canes are just the absolute best. But to understand why he carries and would carry something like, I just gave you a practical example why, but it's just in Cuba where he was, he just did not have the resources to carry something like that, right? So he had to make way with what he did. And in that sense, anything you put in a Sobrevivencia practitioner's hands becomes potentially a self-defense tool. And that's, go back to the series, the very first one. Why is Joe Robaina carrying that, weaker, cheaper looking cane? This is actually even weaker than what I was showing in the other ones, right? Than what I was using in the other segments. So let me just show you, when this is picked up like this, this is one of the points that he makes even before he gets it. And again, go back to the other ones to understand why we're always defending, it seems, against a tool. The system is put together to defend against tools, but it works the same whether she has the tool or doesn't. It's a matter of distance now. But again, the initial movements that allow you to secure the tool down here. So here you don't see anything. You don't even see it. You have it held here to the side. You would hold the cane in much the same way. It's a little bit different. The cane is not up here. When you put the cane up here, your opponent sees this and he knows he's going to have to go through there. He, by design, one of the comments he makes is moving the target towards you. And he uses the analogy of Kudo, right? Where the Japanese explain that it's not the arrow seeking out the target, but moving the target towards the arrow. Think about that. Not now, but think about that a little later. But this implies that this is wide open. And what he's going to do is lure you in, because this is where he wants to get. Now pull that. Yeah, that's where he has it. And now this becomes a tool for him to get to the inside. The exact same thing happens with the empty hand or any tool that he might have there. So that, if this, and by the way, he's very clear, much like ACSD, when asked, the cane, teach it from the cane application stems everything else. So in this case, he's still going to move in such a way that he gets to deflect and get to the inside right in here when he needs, and then pull from here. It's pretty much the same thing he'd be doing if that tool moves over. He comes in and then be able to move, and then you have both of them. So he became very good at disarming. But those are the same applications. So whatever you're doing with that cane, you're also doing empty hand. The weakness of this tool, right? Follow me here. The weakness of this tool, which is the fact that, it can't hold up. It's got the shaft that's, well, it's a little bit too pliable, right? So with something like this, once he comes to the inside, and don't miss this position, whether this is folded or not, it's this movement. Look at it here, right? And just follow the other segments and you'll see that it's this. So he's all the way in here now. Once he's here, when he comes, because it does full turn, now he's using this item to strangulate, right? And you see how uncomfortable, sorry. The movement is here and then here if necessary, right? But you see how he turns something that would be the weakness in the tool, and he creates that, makes it very versatile to actually be a strength. And this is SV in its broadest sense, truly an art in a variety of areas for survival, and this is just one representation of all these other things. So again, we're not saying that, hey, you don't avail yourself, or this is the new cane, or this is what we're moving into. Has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with that. You avail yourself of the best tools you have, but the best tool in the world, please, please, please understand this. Canes don't produce anything. Canes don't do anything in and of themselves. Trained caners do. Does that make sense? That goes for any tool that you might be using. And it's why we insist in that training is the equalizer. Yes, we want to avail ourselves of the best tools, but if you're going to avail yourself of any tool, it only makes sense to get trained. SV is the epitome of that, out of necessity, right? We don't have the material, so we have to find another way. There is another way. And I really appreciate all the feedback, all the questions that you have, and pretty soon we'll be having Cane Self-Defense University. We'll probably open it to the general public, but at least certainly if you follow ACSD, we'll have Maestro Ruiz, and he'll be covering some of these topics, and you'll get an opportunity to ask him questions. This is all in preparation and in the promotion of the upcoming Fall Cane Immersion 2023, September 19th through the 22nd, where for the first time ever, he's going to be offering his level 1 Nivel Basico, or basic foundational training in SV. So if this is something that interests you, we're about 65% full right now. We still have about 5 months to go. What you want to do is text Fall 2023 to 305-745-7839. And guys, if you want to talk, we answer the phones. It's 800-289-8188. And regardless of whether you're thinking of coming down to Miami or not in September, really what you need to do is text CCC to 305-745-7839 and find out. You're watching this. You're watching a lot of video, right? I appreciate it, and I appreciate your enthusiasm for it. But nothing gets done until you have a trained set of eyes giving you the feedback and the correctives that you're going to need. Right? It's like trying to learn a musical instrument by just watching video alone without feedback. In our experience with the cane, it doesn't amount to much. So do yourself a favor. You're going to walk out of that conversation a much more educated caner. I'm Joe Robaina for American Cane Self-Defense and Sobrevivencia. Thanks for watching. Keep caning. Stay safe.